Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Their Voice. I am Lala Carla Dunson, and Their Voice has been created for a platform for parents of children with special needs. Here we'll discuss our challenges, our concerns. We're hoping to inspire one another and bridge that gap where communication is just not there, resources. Today, joining me is Miss Carla Griffin. Carla, welcome to Their Voice, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lala. This is going to be fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you are Wonder Woman when it comes to all these beautiful things that you design, and thank you for my mask, my family's mask. I so appreciate you. I think you got a few colors, but I want some more, but we'll talk about that another day.
Okay.
Definitely want to commend you on everything that you do. You are just amazing. Every department store should have your clothing, your fashion in there.
I wish.
Really, it will happen because you are definitely a beautiful person. Let's be honest with you. We met through a time where a young woman, a single mother of four, a mother of a child with special needs, and she was, in your words, I forget the words that you used when we went to the jail to meet with her. I can't even think of what words you used, but it touched me so. You said, what happened to Diana should not have happened to her. And the reason you said that, and you probably don't remember because we were all like talking with our emotions that day, but tell me why the story of Diana Elliott touched you. What made you so interested in meeting with her? And honestly, let's just put it on the table. You allowed your home, you opened up your home for a woman that you never met before a day in your life, just by the compassion you have being a parent of a child with special needs. I mean, what was that like for you to just say, hey, I want to help her and I want her to come home with me?
Well, it had a lot of moving parts to it. Some years ago, I had, a challenge with my own son. And I learned and realized that things like this were happening all over the place. I chose the option of leaving my son at a hospital to, really try to get the care that I needed. I had a very challenging son. We had violence, we had his disability, we had puberty, we had all of this happening at one time. And I once had to choose an option to leave him in a hospital. Now, a little different than what I saw on the news that night. But that evening, when I saw the news story, all I heard was a young woman left her son at a hospital, obviously because, she needed help and she couldn't, care for him herself at that time. It sounded perfectly familiar. Just, yes, I know what she's going through. And I think I remember I said she didn't need to be arrested. She needed help.
Yes. And as simple as that sound, that touched me because I thought a mother of a child with special needs, this is not good, but you understood what I felt. And
I saw it. I recognized it because right. I had, again, it wasn't the exact same, but the motivation was the same. You get to a point as a single mom period, single dad, it doesn't matter, family. You get to the point of being on the edge and there's this ledge of, I don't know what to do anymore.
Right.
There's this ledge of, I don't have the strength to go another day. There's this ledge of, I need help. Who can help me? So before you jump off, your last ditch effort is, who can help me? And what is that? How does that look? Right? And for that particular news story, it looked like I can take him to a hospital.
Right.
And I saw that and I said, wow, she needs help. So it turned into, her being arrested. It turned into, okay, she's got a case. She's got a court hearing the very next day. And I had a family member who worked at the jail and in the courthouse. And I did some research. I said, what's going on with this young woman? I didn't know I was going to say, come on, you can come stay with me. I was doing the same thing. I was just going next thought, next thought, next thought. Wow. And I just showed up at her hearing and surprised, not real surprised, but I was there along with all the other moms like yourself. So that's how it started.
Well, I'll be honest, I was surprised because, you get into this motion of thinking, I care about her. People are putting her down. They're thinking all the worst thoughts because when the news first broke, I thought, oh my God, she left her child in the streets in front of the Grady house. I'm like, then when I finally started listening, I go, wow. The things that people were saying, the comments, I go, wow, are you kidding me? She clearly, looking at her picture, made me feel like there's more to it.
It's got to be. And people don't know.
Right.
They're traditional parents.
Mm-hmm.
They've got typical kids. There may be, there's some parents out there who, may have had some experience with, special needs and everything, who didn't get to that edge of a decision. Right. But yeah, a parent like me, like you, all the parents that showed up were parents that had special needs kids.
Right.
Except for the one who didn't, but just saw through it.
Yes.
He says, I don't care. I'm a mom. I know, right. Like some moms do know that edge, regardless of,
right.
Their child being typical or, disabled. All of there was the myriad of comments that were being posted on social media and everything. Yeah, you don't abandon your kid, everything. But guys, and then I remember I wrote a post. Mm-hmm. And I grabbed their attention in the beginning, because my community, my friends on social media and everything, I started to post out, I did this too.
Wow.
And then I told the story. Like, so don't be so quick to judge.
Right.
I did this too. Do I look like the kind of person that would do something like what she did?
And that's what was astounding. I said, you're pretty much, hey, you want to throw jabs? Throw jabs.
Yeah, I can take it. And I remember telling her that. I'm like, that's why I had to shift. I felt like once I got educated on it, I felt like I had to create some shift. Like, okay, stop. Come over here because I can take it.
Right. And that was really beautiful of you to do because like I was telling, as you know, Diana Elliott has been on the show. Mm-hmm. She was very appreciative of all of us coming together. She actually thought we all knew each other. I said, Diana,
I remember her saying that.
I said, we did not know each other. We were just,
no idea.
I remember you coming into the jail and I go, okay, well, I don't think she has a lot of family here because Lisa, she and I were Facebook friends, but we didn't communicate. We were just, mothers of children with special needs that will post. And then when I said I made a post stating that I'm going to be going to the jail, I just contacted, I know where she is. And that's when Lisa inboxed me and said, hey, I'm going too. And then it went from there. So
yeah, I didn't even have that. I had no idea. I just showed up and we would just happen to be sitting in the same place.
Right. And when we were trying to get her attention, I remember coming out of the holding, is that the holding tank? I don't know. Where we were watching her.
In the guest area.
Yeah. Guest area. I remember coming out and, we were all talking briefly in the lobby because we were all being told there were family members coming in and we're looking like, well, there's no one here to see her but Lisa and I. And then they said, well, no, that lady is seeing her. And it was you. And I go, so are you family? And you said, no, I understand this. And like, wow, Mm-hmm. And I was explaining to Diana, that's just what happened.
Yeah.
And after communicating more with you and you sharing your story briefly outside of the jail, and then I said, okay, well, she's going to be okay. I was in tears when they said that they were definitely going to release her.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
And I said, someone said, I don't know who said, I don't know if it was Katie Ross, or from Channel 11, is that Channel 11 or Channel
Yes,
5?
yeah, it's Channel 11.
Well, where is she going to go? And your response was, she can come home with me. And
Yeah.
I took a double take. My heart is big, Carla. It's huge. I love and I care, but I could not do what you did because of experiences that I've had helping, other clients and people that, you go and you reach out, but we all know at the end of the day, there's nothing more needed at this point than shelter.
Right.
I was there to assist the best way I could. Lisa, everybody was wearing their heart on their sleeves that day, and we still are. You, Carla, my heart just goes out to you because you did the unthinkable. And so I started thinking, well, she must know this lady. Something's going on here. Why would she just let a stranger? Because even though we all, our heart felt for her, for you to allow her in your home, and everyone that knows me knows I am so private. I tell people when they come over to my home, if I'm having a get together, which I don't have many, who are you bringing? How do you know them? And it was unthinkable. So when you said that, I said, wow, this is so beautiful. That's what I call love. You are your sister's keeper. And I just had to bring you on the show to discuss the challenges that we have as parents. And also, I want the world to know that there are good people. There's Carla Griffins out there that understand. Yeah.
It's a bunch.
Yes. And there's a lot of people that need to be embraced at the lowest time in their lives. And you did that. And Diana reminded me, Lala, you were there too. I said, yeah, I appreciate her knowing that. And I said, but not saying Carla is better than anybody or, but I said, Carla, man, I just love you for that. That was just so special. And I really want you to know that everyone at James and Mary Foundation and Their Voice appreciates you. And as I say to all of my guests, there's nothing like communicating with a mother of a child with special needs, because Carla, you and I, we're forever friends. We're forever sisters. You know that. This was divine by divine design.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, you raised your child. Your child is no longer a child. He's a young man.
Yeah, he is.
You've done what Lisa, Diana, myself, what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So in doing so, Carla, I had some really bad experiences. Sometimes get emotional talking about it, but with Landon being allegedly abused in school. Now we're getting video cameras in the classrooms for children with special needs. I spoke to you briefly a couple of days ago. Did you ever have any experiences with your son and your response at school being allegedly abused, or anything that you concerned?
Mm-hmm. So when John was in school, of course there was no cameras. I don't know if the major issues with what I dealt with raising John were so much school related, where behavior is concerned. There was never any kind of charge of abuse, or even any suspecting of any kind of abuse or mistreatment or anything like that. I think we just were in a good place for that. The struggles that John and I had were behavior at home.
Okay.
John's father died when he was 8. And my daughter, she's 8 years older than John is. So I had 2 separate kids. I had 2 only children, right? So particularly when the age difference became so much older, like when they were younger, we just had 2 kids. Even though they're 8 years apart, they were still 2 kids. But then when she became, college age, high school and college, particularly with him being disabled, there was the gap just got larger and larger and larger, right? So it was the 3 of us when they were kids, in school. My husband died when he was 8 and she was 16.
Oh, heart goes out.
So then there was the three of us. Right after he passed away, my daughter went away to college. So it was just he and I. So the bulk of John Anthony's, growth and development was just me and him. And it was a huge struggle. The man in his life was taken out. He asked for his dad for 5 years, every single day, right? So the bulk of the struggle that I had was actually raising John personally. School was a good place. Now, I do believe, since you and I planned this, that we talked a couple of days ago, and since you and I planned, I do believe if there had been more insight to behavior and structure in school, I really believe that could have helped me as a parent and help other social workers and other resource agencies that we did work with guide John, in a better way based on his development and behavioral, challenges. So if there had been cameras in the classroom, it's like there's dual reason, right? You had one experience that wasn't good, you needed, a parent like you needed cameras in the classroom for protection, right? Based on the experience you had. I believe there's a dual reason for cameras in the classroom. What about help and really being able to monitor and see, what the differences are? A kid behaves one way in school, behaves another way at home. And then, because the one thing that I always talked about with the administrators was, you've got one kid at school, I've got another kid at home. There's a gap and we gotta bridge that. And that was my only request with every conversation. You gotta help me bridge this gap. I don't know how to do that. I would come to the school. That doesn't help because there's a distraction. You can't help. Sometimes there would be a classroom where you can watch through the window.
Observing, right.
Yeah, the observing room or whatever. It still wasn't the same. There needed to be this gap bridged. And that's where John and I fell apart when it came to me really helping him thrive as he got older. Because these kids have a lot of moving parts to them as they get older. There's puberty, there's transition. We moved from Atlanta to Washington, D.C. There's that transition. His father died. There's that transition. His sister left. There's that transition.
Wow.
So, yeah. Changing schools. You know how they feel about their caregivers at school. They love them.
Yes.
They love their people at school. All of that change in this little 3 to 5 year period, it just wasn't working out for us. So, when I think about, cameras in the classroom, there's several reasons to do it.
Right. I thank you for saying that. And you're absolutely right. The inspiration behind the Lala Dunson Act, which again was named after Lala, and I'm still so honored by that. That purpose was obviously to protect our children. Well, let's be clear. The cameras in the classrooms, as you said, there's other facets involved. It educates our teachers. It teaches. It's like a teaching tool. It also protects the teachers. There's teachers that are being accused of things that they did not do. Mm-hmm. It works. To me, it's a no-brainer. I really don't know why it's taken us so long to. I do know, because God has certain people on this planet to do certain things. And Valencia Stovall, our state representative, she was the chosen one. She heard my cry, she received it, and she got into action. So now, Carla, we're trying to get a new bill passed, and this is to make it mandatory. The first one was a pilot, giving the district an option. We're back in there, and we're not going to stop, but this now will allow mandatory cameras to be in the classrooms. They can't tell us no once it's law. So that is something that I have been trying to educate all of our parents on, because there's some parents, as I said many times, that are pregnant, that are going to have a child with special needs.
Mhm.
There's parents, a child that has not even been conceived, that these cameras will assist. So I thank you for sharing your reasons and your concerns, because even though you did not have that experience, some people, when they don't have experiences like I have and so many other mothers, the Lisa Williamson, the Judy Marshalls, the Jessica Wells, and Ron Hatcher, they don't understand us. They think, well, I have an experience, and then they don't talk about it. You have not had that experience, but you're thinking, I have not, but this would help. It's a no-brainer. Yes, absolutely. So I appreciate that. I'm hoping, Carla, that you share with your friends and your families of the bill, Dunson Hatcher and Wells Act,
Mhm.
so that we can make a difference. As you said, there's more resources, just as you said, transitioning out of school and going to a different state. And John really had a lot to endure. And
Yeah.
let's not forget Mama.
Yeah, and the transition was for me also, because
Absolutely.
this was on the heels of 9/11.
Okay.
So, and one of the reasons why I had to move, I left Atlanta, moved to Washington, D.C., because it was the only job I could find at the time. I got offered a job. It wasn't ideal because somebody recommended me for a job in another state. And I'm like, what? My husband just died. I got this kid. I don't. So it was on the heels of 9/11. So I took it. Best move ever in my life. It ended up being the best career move, the best life move. John still lives in Maryland.
Okay.
I'm back in Atlanta. But yeah, we loved our life there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot happened, and we made it through. So yeah, it was, I mean, God orchestrates everything.
I'm glad you came back, because if you had not have come back, I would not have met you. I
Right.
would not have met you. And I do
Right.
believe in, again, everyone meeting for reasons, and
Sure.
some more lifetime. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news lately. I know you're busy. We know you're this fashion designer, sewing my style, Nikki G. Now, did you hear about the young man that mom admitted to killing and stating that he's now in a better place? The Alejandro Ripley story last night? Or,
I
no?
did see it. I heard a little bit on social media, but I hadn't delved into it.
Yeah. Well, that's just one of the reasons why their talk show exists. Carla, hearing that story, and I was actually about to interview Diane Elliott again, and it was just not something that I wanted to see, and we're never ready for it.
No.
But it just, honestly, I do believe that things happen to confirm why I'm doing their voice. It's almost, you have people saying, well, Lala, you've been doing this for a very long time. You're really passionate. And then you're home during COVID-19 and you start thinking, well, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I want to sew some masks. I want to be as close to Nikki G as I can be with her. I'll never get there. But, you start thinking this time, unfortunately, it was a really sad time. And my heart goes out to all the families that have lost lives, family members. But I will say it started gnawing at me saying, you've got to do more, you've got to do more, you've got to do more. And I feel really convinced that this is definitely going to be a great platform. And I'm hoping that we, parents that have children with special needs, can enlighten others that don't have children with special needs. As you said earlier, you don't have to have a child with special needs. The other young lady, the mom that did not have a child with special needs, but she took an interest. She really cared about the story. And Diana told me really great things about their meeting. And she really, really stated how grateful she was that you were there. She told me that. And I said, that was really good to know, because through all the mixture of, I hate to say it, but the drama that surrounded her story, when we all know that she went through a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping, well, that's a different story, but to go through what she has gone through and to be able to realize at the end of the tunnel, there is a light and there is someone that cares. And I told her, I said, sweetheart, you are so blessed. You are so
Yeah.
blessed.
There's
And
so many people that did see the story, because even though they didn't show up to the courthouse, even though they didn't do, ask her, allow her to come stay, even though they did other things,
other things.
because they understood,
Mhm.
right? So community, I mean, for the most part, I always say this, for the most part, people are good.
Yes. Yes.
For the most part,
For the
people
most part.
are
I
good.
like that. I like that. For
Yeah,
the most part, people are good. Not anything, just period.
right.
Most part, people are good.
Most part, people are good. That's the basis of what people are. People are good first, right? And when there's an opportunity to give, you know what happens physiologically inside your body when you give?
Mhm.
It's a chemical reaction.
Mhm.
There is a chemical reaction in your
That's
body.
why I feel good. So, I mean, I totally believe that. I really, you feel great. You feel like you
When you
made a
give,
difference.
exactly.
Yeah, and that is definitely, as you said about the people who are involved, there were so many people that did support Diana, supporting you. I know I had my share of assistance as much as I could do. And do you remember the group, the organization? I want to say Black Moms. I forget the
Yes. Bailout. It was the organization that bailed out moms of
I
single
know that
moms.
was Black Moms. I know that was.
It was Black moms. Oh my gosh, shame on us for not
I've
they were there.
I've got to find that name because
Yes,
I
they
want
were there,
to connect with them as well.
and they bail out moms
Yeah.
who had been arrested, whether it's for Christmas or Mother's Day or whatever. They showed up. So if Diana had had a bail,
Right.
they would have bailed her out.
Right.
What a great thing. I mean, it's like they came up with their one little thing to do.
Right. Everybody.
Those two women came up with their one little thing to do.
Right.
Who would have thought we're going to go bail out moms from jail?
Right. Lisa and I were thinking of, okay, well, she's going to need a bail. We hadn't gotten that far.
We were ready to spend money, weren't we?
Yeah. We're like, well, we got to get her out.
Money.
Well, there's two other moms here. Maybe we can get a couple,
We can scrape some money together.
They came in, and when she said, I said, you know what? And I feel, I wouldn't say awful, but I wish I remember the name. I actually have her card, and
Yes,
so much going on.
Fair. We didn't even think about that, but yeah, I do remember those two women.
Yes.
Bail out Black moms or something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, they need a hand clap because they showed up. They showed up. There was nothing for them to actually do because she didn't have a bail, which was a blessing. But yeah, the fact that they showed up and they were there, and we had those conversations. We got to meet them and everything. So, and Annie she came up from Henry County. She was a retired teacher.
Yes.
She was a retired. She wasn't even a mom.
Yes. Yes.
She's a retired teacher. She had just retired.
County. She actually worked in Clayton County.
Yes, in Clayton County.
Like, I know you.
Yes.
Everybody thought we knew each other. And as you said, everybody had a job to do. But one thing we had our own different jobs, but one thing we all shared, and that was the love and care for Diana.
Yeah.
And that just so beautiful.
Yeah.
I
mean, when we saw a kid, it's a kid that had a need. And then we learned that there was this whole family. This whole family. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then we learned this woman had a beautiful heart that had her own story, which we will allow her to communicate again. I just can't wait for the reunion. I'm working on that. I'm hoping that we could all just get together and we will.
Yeah.
Just share laughs during her journey, because it's not over yet. Just got a lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you have a story that dynamic and that complicated, It takes a while to unravel it and smooth it out. And, you know, it does get smoothed out, but it takes a while. It takes some more work, and it takes more help too.
Right.
You know, the help can't stop. You know, our system is what it is, and it has its pieces. I fought the system before with my son. It's hard.
Yes.
It is hard.
You would agree that we do need lots of resources. I mean,
Oh
we
my
need so
God.
many resources. We have our state, as I said earlier, State Representative Valencia Stovall. She's actually fighting, well, not fighting, but she's hoping to gain the Senate seat, which I'm hoping. And
Yeah.
there's a young lady by the name of Angel Massey who will take her place.
Mhm.
Whoever gets in that District 74 seat, we're hoping that they continue our fight for children with special needs. And I'll be honest, it goes on and on. There's so many things I want to see changed in our state and every state. And we want to go back to Compton and help assist, because they've got folks, some great people doing great things there. Now there's resources that we do have. Our children's story, that's here in Atlanta. She has resources on information, as I was sharing with Diana, for parents that are coming from different states.
Mhm.
There's Ron Hatcher, who actually is the CEO of the They Can't Talk, But We Can. Jessica Wells, she joined me on she actually is a host here on Their Voice. And there's just so many wonderful people in our community. And I don't mean in Atlanta or Hampton, Georgia. I mean in our community, our special needs family, that are doing wonderful things, that are trying to make a difference. And a lot of us would love to get continued support from those that do not have children with special needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've got a long way we've come a long way, but we have a long way to go. When I look at you and I see you and I see how wonderful you're doing and mentally stable, having a child with special needs can bring on a lot of different tears.
You see
Okay.
the stability.
The beautiful Carla Griffin, it lets me know that, hey, Lala, I do have a wonderful husband that definitely supports, and we, you know, my story is different than a lot of other mothers. Yeah. I do have children that are there for me as well. But let's face it, can we be 100 clear and real here? I'm the mom, and I don't care who you have around you. It helps a lot, but at the end of the day, it all falls on mom. So looking at you, it continuously inspires me to say everything's going to be okay. And to the woman that I really wish that she had took a different way out, opposed to allowing her son to drown or pushing him in the water in the canal. That breaks my heart. I have a lot of things I want to say about that, but I want to wait until I get all the facts. I just wish that she had chose something different. And someone yesterday, or Jessica was saying on the show yesterday, that, you know, a lot of people that are having issues, if, you know, maybe should take them to the hospital. I said, well, someone did take their child to the hospital and they arrested her. Right? Right.
You don't like putting them into the river. You don't.
Right. You know, there's resources that should be there that are not. And so I'm hoping that I can create a platform. So, and I can't, zap life better for anybody, but I do want to be able to have a voice and, call me if you're going through something, or call someone. Maybe, Carla, are you sewing today? Well, listen, I've got someone that really needs to talk to you, and you're always there when I call you. I appreciate you.
That's totally it. When I was going through what I went through with my son, I was in the radio business. Mm-hmm. I was in sales and marketing. So I had access to airtime, right? And I remember I managed a show once, and I can't remember what the topic was, but it was about reading. But this caller called in, mm-hmm. and it was about going to the library and actually reading. And she told the story about how she's got a disabled son and she would love to take him to the library, but this mm-hmm. of things. And the radio host, he kept talking to her because it unpacked this whole other story that had nothing to do with, but she grabbed us. I called on the inside line. I said, keep her on the phone, keep her talking, patch her over to me when you're done.
Wow.
So it does happen every now and then that you can grab someone and say, look, it's going to be okay. You are not by yourself. That's the thing. This young woman, the little bit that you just told me, she said her son is in a better place and everything. Lala, you know, when you get to that edge,
Yes.
nothing else, you don't think there's somebody that can call. You don't think, I've seen this before. You have no thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on, as a mom, as a parent, because men go through it too. It's not just moms. Men are raising disabled kids by themselves also.
They sure are.
Parents, two parents are raising disabled kids
Yes.
who don't know what to do.
Right. Thank you.
They are. So, and when you get to that edge, you can't hear, you can't see. So the point is to try to be effective before a parent gets to that edge.
There you go. And that is why I was speaking to Jessica last night, and I said, you know what? We as parents of children with special needs, we've got to organize some type of positive way to reach out to our family members that have children. Even, I mean, you should reach out to your family, period. I know, when, especially during hard times, but not only then. Now imagine a parent that has a child with special needs that doesn't have anyone to talk to. Reach out and pick up the phone before that happens. And what's happening now, these parents that are pushing their children in canals, taking their child to the hospital, they're saying, hey, I need help. And we're not listening. And a lot of people don't know how to listen. A lot of people are ready to judge because they're not familiar with this circumstance, these circumstances. So you're absolutely right. I suggested that, when it comes to DFACS, they may need to start, and we don't have to call it DFACS. We need a different type, and I'm talking, and yes, I'm gonna try to walk the talk. We need some type of organization set up that all we do is reach out. How you doing? I know you have this going on. People say all the time, yeah, I got a message yesterday. I appreciate what you're doing, Lala. I don't want to quote them, but you always talk about children with special needs. People that have newborn babies, we change diapers all day too. I said, sweetie, can I contact you? Sure. I called her, and because sometimes it comes, texting, we all know it comes out a different way. Even though I might be saying it the way but I don't want her to receive it that way. So I called her, I said, listen, I understand we all have our own challenges. I said, but please do not compare your child that's 2 years old that does not have special needs with my 14-year-old. She says, well, to me, that's you're discriminating age. I said, no, I'm not. I said, your child will have the milestones. If she doesn't have any special needs or unique challenges, she will have milestones. Landon is 14 years old. Landon still wears pull-ups. I am having to baby my child the entire time. Landon will be a man one day. He will be a man one day. And Landon may still need to wear pull-ups. So I told her, I said, your fight is definitely a fight because being a mother is hard. I don't care what you're doing, it's hard. But your challenges are different than mine. Landon cannot feed himself without making a mess. He's doing a lot better with sandwiches and finger foods, but I said, and then she said, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I forgot, will he ever be able to go to the restaurant? I said, he goes now. I take him. I sit in there with him to make sure he understands. But no, he does not go by himself. He does not. I can't say, Landon, go to the restroom. Landon's going to look at me and say, okay, when you're ready, let's go, because he can't go. And so it was a great conversation because this is one of my Facebook friends that if I say the son is is beautiful, she'll say, well, it's really hot over here. What, she has something to say about everything. And I love her, but I had to break that down. And I think we're on a better path now because she said, I didn't think about that you have to change him. I see him on pictures. I say, yeah, he looks cute. He's a model. Lana will pose for you in a heartbeat. That's what he does. But he has special needs. And yes, so there's just so much that we need to do, as you said, to get in there before this happens.
Yes, before they get.
We're all walking around like we're brave. We can do that. We are. I consider myself a very strong woman. I do, but I will be a fool to say I don't have overwhelming times. I do.
Oh my gosh, we all do. And at the time of this show, where it's during coronavirus 2020, right? I think about all those parents who did not have any kind of relief from managing the day-to-day of a disabled child.
Right.
Typically, they get to go to school, or wherever they go during the day, there's help. There was no help. Maybe that's how her situation showed up.
Right.
And it was tragic, and it was absolutely horrible. But there's so many out there that were 24 hours having to manage the day. And a disabled child, particularly intellectually, they didn't know there was this virus outside, that they couldn't go anywhere. They didn't know the reason why they couldn't go anywhere. They didn't know the reason why they didn't see their teacher or their caregivers or their friends. They don't know that, particularly if there's an intellectual disability. Like with my son, I would call him all the time, and he wanted me to come visit. And, I said, honey, when the virus goes away, I can come. Yeah, so it's seasonal also. And this season just happened to be.
Yeah, and imagine a mom that she saw her child, because on the video, when you see her push her Alejandro in the lake, you see her stroke his hair, as in, I love you, but I just can't. And it tugged at my heart. And I said, well, she gave an act of love, that quick moment. The gesture was confusing, the agony, the mixture of love. And you're thinking, she in her mind, and this is what I'm thinking, okay, this is hard for me. As you just said, you said a mouthful when you said this COVID-19, it keeps everyone together. And my children know, my teenagers know, hey, you're not going out there right now, period. Mm-hmm. Landon is like, well, yesterday I went to school and I saw my favorite teacher, and he enjoys getting into the car. So I had to take him places, and sometimes we would just drive around, but Landon knew he was going. You've got to remove yourself from that. Everybody is not able to do that. So she probably thought, well, I can't make you happy. Look at you. And I know this is going to probably insult some people. I know you deserve better. You deserve so much more than me. I can't give you what you want. Look at you. I'm going through a lot. I can't give you what I want to give you. I've got to help you. I don't want someone else to take you and mistreat you. I want you to be with God. Right. She wanted him to be closer to God. And my brain, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm saying it, but I'm thinking, what in the world? And then I remind myself, you don't know what she was going through. And unfortunately,
Mama, you get it. You get it. Even though it's bizarre, even though it's cruel, even it sounds cruel, it sounds bizarre, it's crazy. What mother would do that? That little piece of us, we get it. Like when I see that, I'm like, I get it. It's horrible. It's horrifying to even accept.
And nobody will understand.
No one understands.
Because I'll be honest with you, I said, when I first saw the video, I was actually, like I said, about to interview Diana, and my daughter sent it to me. I saw that face. I'm putting on my lipstick, and I'm thinking, let me look at this. And I said to myself, oh my God, I just broke down. And I said, I want to get this woman. I want to shake her. I want to kick her in the stomach, because I'm thinking, you're mean. You hate your child. How terrible. And then I said, oh, I want to hug her. I want to say, why did you do this, sweetie? It's okay. I know you were going through so much. You know what I mean? Those are my emotions. And I'm thinking, do you feel like that? Like you want to be angry because of something happening to a child, just
Yeah.
just on that principle alone. And then you remove your emotions and you say,
Too. Yeah, I think because of what I went through, and my fight lasted 4 years. And I think I go first to, wow, there's another one. Wow, there's another mom who just couldn't handle it. I mean, when you think about, remember Andrea Yates with
yes.
5 kids? Susan Smith was a little different.
No, not go on. I'll tell you, when I first saw that, I didn't have a child with special needs. And I thought, why did she do this? Why did she do that? Well, Landon is the youngest out of all my 6 children. And they were little altogether. And honestly speaking, I said, because this was during the time when I saw I said, wow, I could never do that to my baby. And when you have a child with special needs, I don't even know if all her children, and Andrea Gates' children had special needs or anything.
Didn't. None of them did. She had typical children, and she drowned them one by one. Susan Smith was the one that drowned them in the car because of the boyfriend.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That's why I just said hers a little different motivation. Yeah. But when you see these stories, they are horrifying. Yes. They are. But there's that little spot. I'll speak for myself. There's just that little spot that says, yeah.
Right. And
her edge was different from another mom's edge.
Right. And people think you're crazy. I mean, I was talking to a few people last night and they said, well, no, I'm sorry. And, that she needs to, and I said, you know what? You're human and you are having raw emotions.
Right.
I have raw emotions as well. And then I pop in and say, wait a minute. You know what I mean? You want to defend, and then you're ridiculed by defending. Exactly. And you say, well, yeah, I understand. And then you just want to cry and say, oh my goodness, I wish I had been there to see on the outside. Because I see signs. I'll tell you, I know a few parents that I don't bombard, but I'm on the outside and I think, you know what? I know what I'm going through, but thank God I'm doing mine a little differently. I pray to God daily, asking him to continue to strengthen me, When Landon starts pulling on me and I'm like, oh, you're taller than me. You're not stronger than me, but you're trying to be. I said, dear God, give me the strength. Because all my children are going to be going off to school real soon, and it's going to be Landon and I, and hopefully he'll be able to go to college one day. But if he does not, Carla, it's a lot. So I try every day to understand what the next person is going through. So when I see a parent, and sometimes they shun me if I'm in Walmart and I see a woman having a hard time with her child, or just looking around, I can tell when they're embarrassed. I can tell with them. I've never been embarrassed, not one time, but I can tell that some parents are embarrassed because they're looking at me behind them in line, watching their child pull everything down or lay out nonverbal, and they're thinking, yeah, she thinks. And I said, hey, you know what? Can I talk to you when we leave here just for a few seconds? Sure. Why? And I have friends. I've made friends just by doing that, because I want them to know you're okay. When Landon has this moment, I call them making Landon music in the stores. I say, Landon, are you serious? You want to make more loud music? Should I get a tambourine? What would you like? And everyone in line looks at me like, what's wrong with that lady? Because I'm letting them know his sounds, they're music to my ear. And you're going to have to listen to it until we leave the store, sweetie. You're going to have to educate yourself that this is a new life. And Landon's initials, Landon, Landon, stands for learn a new direction of normal. That was my little theme. But yeah, we could go on and on about our children. And Carla, I just thank you so much. Will you promise to be here on Everyone's Watching if I need you?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. And would you like to share any social media platform? Because did I not mention, I think I did, that you're an amazing fashionista seamstress. I don't want to water your title down at all.
It's fine. I'm a sewing instructor first, and I sew. I make my own clothes, and
Beautiful clothes.
find me on my any platform sewing my style. And but more importantly, we have johnsway.org, and I wrote and blog. I cataloged everything of our fight with John. And I say fight because we had to sue the school system to get our services. But I started writing in 2007, and I still write. So I always like to share that. It's johnsway.org. I always like to share our story, and just let you know the different things we went through and what the turnout was, details, just so you can understand. I used to send other parents to read our story all the time. So that's what I'd like people to take away.
Awesome. Now, Carla, if you could, there's a parent watching right now. What would a parent of a child with special needs, what would you say to that parent that's having some trying times? They don't know the way out. They don't know the way in.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, you're not by yourself. You're not alone. This is not the first time any parent has gone through what you're going through. There's somebody who has been there, and there's somebody who's going through it at the same time. Reach out. Don't keep it quiet. Through your tears, even if you can't stop the tears, through the frustration, lock yourself in a room and pick up the phone. Call anybody. Call anybody and say these 3 words: I need help.
And there you have it. I want to thank you, Carla Griffin, for joining us today, and thank the viewers for being a part of Their Voice. If there's anything that you need that I can be of any assistance, me, Jessica, or even Ron, please reach out. Let us know. As Carla said, 3 words. That's all I need to hear. I need help. Have a blessed day.